Yes, definitely appreciate that smell. I know for me, when I first began using essential oils and coming off the prescription medications that I was on, I really loved the smell because it was so relaxing and calming. It helped me with sleep. But however, that is a just cherry on top bonus. you know, we definitely want to focus on looking at our bodies, assessing our bodies, and determining, okay, these are some areas where I see some deficiencies, and what oils would complement in correcting those deficiencies.
That's wonderful. So, you know what? You mentioned relaxation, which is certainly not the only, but it is one of the many healing aspects of essential oils. So let's, get deep and mention exact essential oils that relaxation would be linked to.
Yes, definitely lavender, great choice, very relaxing. And lavender is also a good choice for beginners. You know, something mild, something that isn't overwhelming for a new user. And lavender is a sedative, so it definitely has some relaxing properties there, as well as peppermint as well. Another great choice. Um, a way you can ease yourself into a lavender, maybe just putting one, maybe two drops on your pillow, and through the night, you're inhaling that, and it's very relaxing and calming.
So, what other are good choices for people who are new to the use of aromatherapy? That's how it's called, but truly essential oils therapy.
I typically recommend someone beginning with lemon, and like I said, the lavender and peppermint I think are great choices. The lemon simply because who hasn't had a lemon? You know, everyone's had lemon.
So it's a
Lemonade,
well recognized scent.
yeah, very well recognized, something that you're familiar with. And lemon can be used in such a wide variety of ways, for cleaning purposes in your home. It's just so many ways you can utilize that, whether just putting a few drops in your water, great way to detox, begin your day drinking that. It's just really a wide variety of uses. So I always recommend that. Like I said, the lavender, really good for relaxation purposes and just keeping you calm, um, especially if you're in a profession where deal with lots of stress and just feeling overwhelmed.
Now, let me
Beneficial.
ask you something. You sound very calm.
Yeah.
Perhaps it's from being from Arkansas, where things certainly move more slowly, because our show is broadcast out of New York.
hmm
And to me, there seems to be a lot more hyperactivity and people suffering from stress disorders. But do you feel that's true wherever you go?
I think it's true wherever you go. And I've just learned, although I'm from Arkansas, born and raised, I've lived in other parts of the United States. And I learned this just through self-care, being in a profession to where I'm helping to empower and advocate. In order for me to do that effectively, I have to take care of myself. And one of the things I really emphasize with myself is self-care and finding ways to manage stress and not allowing myself to get stressed out and overwhelmed because that makes me less productive.
Yes, that's true for anyone, I'm sure. And you felt very grateful that you learned these techniques to help yourself. What else does your body need to perform its best that you have found through your studies in natural health?
You know, um, I think everyone's heard this. However, I think we think it's cliche, but you literally are what you eat. I cannot emphasize that enough, that we have to put good into our body for good to come out. There are certain vitamins that are just really, really um, beneficial to our health. You know, vitamin A. Generally, with that, you're eating carrots or any orange food. Um, your B vitamins, your whole grains, bananas, lentils. We definitely know we need our vitamin C. Everyone knows we can get that through oranges, but other things you can eat with that, like Brussels sprouts, kiwi. Um, Definitely need the vitamin D. That's where we get our energies. Um, Oftentimes we find, especially when it's not warm, like right now we have summer, but as fall and winter approaches and less sunlight, our vitamin D can be affected. We definitely want to utilize eating those eggs, fish, and when we think of fish, we want to make sure that we're getting as much as possible the organic. You know,
Which
we
is
want.
definitely a challenge when you're talking about fish. But I want to remind our listeners that you are listening to Herbally Yours on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm Ellen Kamai at naturalnurse.com, and my guest today is Senior Specialist, Master's degree Cassandra Hill, and also the author of her book on aromatherapy. And tell us the name of the book again.
Aging with essential oil.
Well, that's bringing together two of your areas of expertise in terms of being well developed in your learning and professional capacity in terms of the aging community, and then bringing in what you learned personally in holistic medicine in terms of essential oils. So that's a really great name. Now, when somebody does embark on supplements, as you said, that's also important to watch quality because a lot of supplements have all kinds of additives in them as well. So, there's a big learning curve in terms of all of these things. And I like that you shared foods that have some of these naturally occurring constituents, such as
Yes.
fish has vitamin D, but what if the fish has heavy metals, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a balancing act nowadays.
It definitely is. And for me, what I found when I initially became focused on living my best life and being as healthy as possible, you really want to look at your labels, and which on meat there generally isn't a label, but you want to do fresh as much as possible, and staying away from foods that have just, like you said, they can add all sorts of stuff, but just really paying attention to what you're purchasing. And I know sometimes we think of it as cost prohibitive. However, just keep in mind that you're going to pay either now or later, because if you keep putting the unhealthy in your body, eventually you will become ill, and just the cost of health care, that expense will be so expensive to where you've paid 10 times over.
I totally agree. Now, one thing I think is that it's actually not correct when people push back and say, oh, I can't afford to eat vegetables. I raised my children who are now in their 40s. I was a single mother working 2 jobs, very tight on money. But if you cook real food like brown rice and cabbage, that's very cheap. That's actually cheaper than eating out at a fast food restaurant. So I think that concept, yes, if you buy fancy gourmet imported, all organic, yes. But what I would do is get farm-raised meat, fish, and chicken. As a matter of fact, I raised it myself on my own farm, okay, at that time, but let's say now. So that is a little more expensive, so you just get that. But vegetables and brown rice and quinoa and amaranth and all kinds of healthy grains are not expensive. So I think, like you said, eating healthy is actually much more cost-effective than eating junk food.
Yeah, definitely. I have a friend now, and she's actually about to become a client, and she's been eating, more of the fast food, and the problem is she's starting to feel very sluggish. Of course, when you're that tired, it affects your work performance. If you're having to take any time off work, that's money you're actually losing, so.
Right. So when you look at the big picture, living healthy is actually has a great return on investment. That's for sure.
Yes, it does.
So tell our listeners before we end for today, Cassandra, what's the best way to get in touch with you? And what is some of your, closing comments?
Yeah, I would say healthy living is life. Quality of life is so important. Health is wealth. When we don't take care of our bodies, not only does it affect us, it affects our loved ones. They're having to make sacrifices in making sure that we have what we need. So just love yourselves to health. And to reach out to me, definitely on my website, CassandraRHill.com. That's Cassandra, CassandraRHill.com. Feel free to call my business number, Holistic Living Consulting, 877-365-8648. Always available to provide healthy living tips. And also on my website, all my social media links for Facebook, Twitter, and you can like me, follow me, and get healthy living tips to improve your life. And if you have any questions, you can submit those online as well.
Well, thank you so much, Cassandra, and thank you, listeners, for tuning into Herbally Yours, produced in the studios of 90.3 WHPC, Nassau Community College, Garden City, New York. For further information, email us at whpc@ncc.edu. This is your host, Ellen Kamai at naturalnurse.com, inviting you to join us next week for another edition of Herbally Yours. Until then, stay healthy.